historicals. Sure is nice to be able to wear this shirt again. Tesla up 5% today, and the whole market rallied nicely. Why is this? Well, my guess is it's because somebody in big money flipped a coin and it landed on heads, and so they decided that today was a good day to go green. Honestly, at these points, I don't know. Jerome Powell did speak today, said, the Fed has the resolve to keep inflation and bring it down. And we've seen this sort of turn and transition to come down in inflation. We'll see how this goes next month, but gas prices are still going up. So who knows what's really going to happen? Listening to the All In podcast that we had with Elon, Elon feels that right now we are in a recession. And, we've talked about it on here, and it definitely feels like it. Thinks we're going in that direction, and it's probably going to get worse. He says, 12 to 18 months is usually how long it takes for us to go through an economic enema. And, it's just a matter of this is how we clean out the pipes. And again, this is also something that we have spoken about, which recessions suck. People can lose jobs. Companies can go under. But a lot of times this is needed. You just need this to flush the system. If you're in health and fitness, sometimes you go on a 3-day cleanse. Just cleanse the whole body out and refresh yourself and move on. It happens in a lot of different things, almost like an oil change in your car. The oil needs to get changed, so you stop running your car, change the oil, and start it up again. We're really basically just going through that time again right now. We were on a massive bull run for 12 years. We are due for a pullback for a longer stretch of time. We got a little bit of a pullback in 2018. We got the COVID crash, but there wasn't any extended time period over the last 12 years that lasted a year or two where we could really just kind of flush the system out of companies that were kind of dead weight and really let the cream rise to the top. And so that is the transition that we are going to go through right now, which as an investor, we take a step back. And these are things that we have talked about on here as well, is Elon says the same thing that you want to do for businesses. If you are running a business right now, make sure you have enough cash reserves to get you through and have good cash flow generation. We talk about this all the time on here. Have those cash reserves and cash flow generation. If you don't have cash flow generation, get a job. There's 1.9 jobs for every one person that's out there. At my job, we are desperate for people. We can't even get people to apply for our jobs, let alone even interview them to see if they're worth, taking on. So there's just nobody out there to work. So jobs right now are desperate for people. So if you're looking for cash flow generation, throw your name out there. Somebody's going to hire you. Get a side hustle of any sort if you have a job and you will have some time and want some extra cash flow coming in. Because again, these are the times over the next 2 years that you want to invest as much money as you can into these companies that are going to be the cream that rises to the top. This is why we talk about Tesla so much. Elon sees this. He saw it with PayPal back in 2000 when the whole entire .com bubble crashed. Luckily they had the cash reserves to get by, but he knows how bad it is. So think about what Tesla's numbers have looked like for the last 2 years. They have gotten themselves profitable. They have built up an $18 billion cash reserve. They have no debt, and they have immense cash flow generation coming in. Elon and the company basically foresaw this coming and set themselves up perfectly to weather this storm. So again, going back to the question of can Tesla weather the recession storm? Yeah. They have the cash reserves, they have the cash flow generation, and then we talk about something else about, when you have, a recession coming on, what companies do you want to invest in? Well, look at the companies that are hiring. The companies that are hiring are the companies that are going to be the cream that rises to the top. They are going to be the best winners that are going to come out of this. Tesla is going to be hiring like crazy. They have 3 expansions going on their factories right now that they are still currently hiring for. So they have massive hiring that's going to be going on over the next 2 years, and they've got the cash reserves to pay for it. So if you're looking for a company to get into because of a recession coming on, and you're asking yourself, what company do I want to invest in? What companies are hiring? What companies have cash flow generation? What companies have cash reserves to pay for all of these employees? Tesla. Tesla is number one as far as I can see to invest in during a recession. And then the confidence I have behind Tesla as well is the way Elon speaks about it. It's more of a necessary evil. It's like this is a natural course of events. This isn't like anything like, oh, the sky is falling, everything is going to crash and burn. No, Elon's like, all right, well, this is a normal course of events. This is natural and healthy. So we have set ourselves up to be able to weather this storm in a natural and healthy manner to thrive during it rather than just try and survive. And that's where they're going. And he's like, yep, and when we come out of it, then the companies that did the best to set themselves up for it are going to thrive and be the strongest. Elon literally told us he has set the company up to thrive, to come out of a recession strongest. So where do you want to put your money? This is literally what Elon just told us. He has set the company up to be there. They're going to be there. They're going to come out of this stronger than anyone else. And then, of course, we are going to have the weak companies that are going to go bankrupt. Whether they're going to be startup companies in EVs or legacy companies in automotive right now, I don't know, because EVs are definitely going to be the future. But if they can't get their balance sheets in line for the next 2 years and get enough investors in there to be able to support them, they could be in some serious trouble. And then what happens if any of these companies go bankrupt over the next 2 years? And guess what? Those companies had customers. Where do those customers go? Oh, they've got Tesla. Where do those employees go? Oh, they can go to Tesla. It's not like Tesla does have the best of the best when it comes to talent, but there's, of course, always going to be people who are going to go to other companies. And if those companies go under, guess who they can go work for? They can go work for Tesla. And now Tesla has its pick of even more talent to choose from. And so yes, while a recession is going to be tough, it's going to be difficult, the way I look at it is in a bullish manner. These are the times you want to be bullish in your buying. You don't want to be stupid and just dump all your money in. You still want to make sure you have cash reserves to get through it. You still want to make sure you got cash flow generation. We don't know how long it's going to last or how bad it's going to be. So make sure you protect yourself, because even though we do have high inflation, cash is still going to be very beneficial to us on the other side of this. So it's when we start to see that turn coming out, when we start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, that's when you can start to deplete your cash reserves and really start investing a little bit heavier as we come out of it. And yeah, I still want to have faith in the Fed's ability to give us a soft landing, but I also need to make sure I set myself up for the worst case scenario, which is going to be a deep recession if that does end up happening. So, I've got myself set up, and what's the worst that happens if I've got a bunch of cash reserves and cash flow generation coming in and the Fed gives us a soft landing? All right, so then I've just got more cash to dump into the stock market. It's really not a bad situation to be in. So realistically, just be set up for any scenario. I'm going to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That has always been my strategy. And so far this year has been, working out well. I'm not going to say it's paying off, because my portfolio is still pretty dismal, as is everybody else's. But again, these aren't the times to, tout how green your portfolio is. These are the times to tout, hey, look at how many shares I have. Look at my wise investments now, because 2 years from now, that is when you're going to be able to tout your investments. That's when you're going to be able to say, look, all of this hard work that I put in over the last 2 years, now it is paying off. It's not going to pay off tomorrow. It's not going to pay off next week. Might not even pay off in next year. It's going to take a little while, but it's going to pay off. You're going to need to be patient, and you're just going to need to make sure that you do your due diligence, do your own research, know what you need to do for your own self and what kind of cash reserves you need to get yourself through these times, and you're going to be fine, and you're going to be very green on the other side. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys have for cash reserves, and what do you have for cash flow generation? Me personally, I have about 8.5% cash reserves right now in my portfolio, and I have every single week, I put in about $150 into my main stock portfolio. I do at the end of every month do a recap of all of my income and where I break out those investments over on Patreon. So if you guys want to see that, I'll share it over there. But so for me, I break it out in a bunch of different ways, but I've got 8.5% cash into my portfolio. And the cash flow generation, I've got a job, I've got my Beachbody business, I've got YouTube, I've got my real estate license that's going to, I've got the test I should be taking soon. Lots of different cash flow generation opportunities I have for myself, so share yours in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. Thank you so much. Have a great one.